continuing to play, and that's talking about something that's our purpose, right? So it's a question of when you're engaging a game, do you think that any game could be played in a finite manner or an infinite manner? Or are there games that are just restrictive? I mean, I'm going to give you an example of an arcade game like Galaga. Does anybody play Galaga or Pac-Man?
No.
Okay.
I played Pac-Man, but not.
Okay, here, Pac-Man. Those are classic arcade games, right? How do those games function? You like with Pac-Man, you got to eat all the pieces. You can get like the one special one, so you can eat all the ghosts, right? When you clear the board, you go to the next board, and this goes on forever. It won't stop until like just the fact that the programming runs out because there's only so much they can program. But like ideally, the game would go on forever, right? Now, is that an infinite game? Because we do define victory in Pac-Man. Who has the highest score? That's a game that's based on score. Most arcade games are based on score. So it's a game that goes on forever, like temporally. But I think maybe temporality may not be the best way to think about infinity. Because something Karst says that I think will elucidate this right with them a little bit. And I think it's pretty accurate. You guys were saying it. We know that someone has won the game when all the players have agreed who among them is the winner. No other condition than the agreement of the players is absolutely required in determining who has won the game. I think that's pretty fair, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to play soccer with somebody, and we all know the rules of soccer, at least we agree on the rules of soccer, we agree that we're playing this one game. And it's only, you know, you say, like, I win, I got all the score, like, I got all the points, and we're out of time, so that means I win. And somebody would be like, I don't think so. You're no victor. You don't win. And you'd be like, but that's the rules, and I'm not playing by those rules. You're playing a different game with somebody, right? And I mean, as long as people don't want to agree that you're the winner, you're not really the winner. And I mean, same thing with Zelda. Zelda's not really over until you decide, like, I'm done, I win. Which is kind of, it's a game that's designed to seem as if there's an end, but you go back and play it still, right? Like to this day. I mean, I do, right? We can continue to play these games, especially video games. They seem to always be able to be turned back on and replayed. Some of them, like an RPG, may have like so much stuff that you're still playing through getting everything that they created. But other games, you're going to just start over again. My friend Will he played this RPG and played through it and finished it, and he's played like 5 times through in this last quarter. So I think he's playing it in quite an infinite manner. There's no end to this game for him. But in terms of player attitude, and let's get away from the idea that finite and infinite just refers to temporality, a beginning and an end point, that maybe that there's some sort of condition by which a game would be kind of conclusive. Finite would be something conclusive and coming to an end that maybe we'd agree upon, right? And infinity would be something more open-ended, something that would encourage a continual play. We don't want to stop playing. Playing is fun. Who wants to stop playing? Okay, that's something. Tori, can you read me this quote from James P. Karst?
Sure. It is an invariable principle of all players, finite and infinite, that whoever plays plays freely, whoever must play cannot play.
It's an invariable principle.
Yeah, it is definitely. Did you have
Whoever plays freely.
We're in Harper 141.
Cannot play. What are some key words you guys?
Awesome.
I mean, I find it interesting that in the final sentence, he actually, or I don't know if you did this or if you read the book, italicizes must and then play in the part that follows it. Because it seems like when he's saying whoever must play cannot play, it seems like they're not really getting the full experience if they feel this has to be done. It has to be more of a, you ease yourself into it and you think of it as something kind of just natural rather than something that you're purposely doing.
Yeah.
I'll try to further elucidate that in a minute.
That's quite right.
I think what he's saying is that play is a form of release, and that you're bound.
Yeah.
What is there a way? This may be too broad, but is there a way you would describe play that makes it something free?
Well, seeing as how you put picture the guy from Grand Theft Auto on this. I'm not really sure if you're intending us to think of people trying to live out some certain desires that they want to have, that they want to just go nuts, or if they consider that a way to like relieve stress on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, so you're talking about something like, I mean, World of Warcraft is probably a good example. Right?
Okay,
It's
yeah.
like role-playing game, you enter into this character, you live this alternative life, it's probably better than the one you normally live, you hate yourself. And, this is all World of Warcraft players. Okay, but there's something about the game that allows a degree of freedom,
Mhm.
right? Like maybe I can go kill people in Grand Theft Auto, but I can't do that in real life.
And you can reset your wanted rating just with a few buttons and keep on going.
That's right.
Yeah. Whereas in real life, that doesn't quite work.
Okay, so there are consequences in real life.
Yeah.
So is something? It sounds like something he's saying here. Then, from what you're telling me, is that freedom. He's talking about freedom. What he means by freedom is something like no consequences. Do what you want. Kind of like moral license. That you can do things like that, right? You can like, live an alternative.
Right.
There's a word. Well, 2 words. Virtual reality. That's often considered the epitome of what a video game is all about. Right. This is what this technology is for. And Grand Theft Auto is an interesting choice because I think they often call that a sandbox game. It's supposed to be like a free space game, right? Because you can do whatever and just roam around the city and have fun.
It really is an infinite game, right? Because you can, there are so many environments, there are so many things that you can do in each environment, and I haven't really played it enough to know, but you do have objectives in each level, though. As soon as you complete those, you can just roam around the environment and shoot people.
You could do that.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever told you that, like, I beat Grand Theft Auto?
I've never actually heard that phrase, no.
Well, I mean, I can say, like, people, I mean, in
Okay.
general, right? People say,
Yeah.
I beat Super Mario Brothers. I beat
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto, right? Okay, so,
But Super Mario Brothers is a linear game,
okay.
and I don't see Grand Theft Auto as being entirely linear because you can go to, say, one area, do an objective, and if you have the skill, go back,
Yeah.
do something else. Whereas in, like, yours and Super Mario Brothers on the Nintendo,
Right.
you would progress world 1-1 to 1-2 to either 1-3 or 4-1 depending on your skill.
Right. And
Yeah.
so Grand Theft Auto is a game that, and maybe because of the advancement of technology today, is a game that feels like we can play more with it and do more with it.
Yeah.
But it's interesting still that, at least I think, you guys, tell me if you don't agree with me, that we still use that kind of terminology of, I beat the game, I beat Grand Theft Auto. We definitely have that in our heads. And whether Grand Theft Auto is actually an infinite game or a finite game remains to be seen. Or whether it's, like maybe I'm kind of suggesting that it's about how you play the game that'll
Yeah.
decide whether it is finite or infinite. But maybe it's a more self-conscious game. Maybe it's a game that's trying to be more, I'm infinite. Play me infinite. Go kill some hookers. So it's an invariable principle. This is invariable. This is the principle of all play. Not games, play. Finite and infinite. That whoever plays, plays freely. Whoever must play, cannot play. So if we're forced, there's no such thing as being forced to play. Because, I guess, play in the sense of freedom. And I don't know, how would you guys describe play? How would you describe your own like play experience?
It's like Tom Sawyer's fence story. Like his what is it, mother, grandmother, caretaker tells him go whitewash the fence. And he's sitting out there whitewashing the fence, and you know some kid comes by and he's like, oh, you want to whitewash this fence? Like once you get to the idea that you don't have to do it, you're only gonna do it because you want to do it. I don't know. That example kind of hinges on the fact that you will already know the story about Tom Sawyer and the whitewash fence. But anyway, like if you're forced to do it, it's not play.
Okay. It's probably there's a word actually I'm really looking for that I think encapsulates.
As opposed
Well,
to play.
Okay, well there you go. That's something. We usually distinguish between work and play. There's a difference. Games are usually the realm of play, and I don't know, everyday life is the realm of work. That's an important word to mention. Important distinction. Work and play. Except I don't have any try. Does anybody see it? Alright. Just remember, work and play. Okay, fine. Work and play. And so if play is free, then work is what? If we're making this distinction.
Required.
Required.